What's up, guys? Welcome to the What's Up Man podcast. We're trying things a little differently today. Today we're going to be talking about Breaking Bad, and I want to touch base on Logan Paul's really hot, important take on the movie Oppenheimer after that. So we're going to get right into it. I hope you guys enjoy the episode. Let's give Brandon a call, and we'll go from there. Talk to you guys in a sec.
What's up, man?
Nothing much. Episode 15, 1-5.
That is incredible.
Yeah. Keep on going, keeping it rolling. So, what we were talking about, we've been wanting to talk about this for a super long time.
Yes.
Breaking Bad. I believe the finale, gosh, man. Was the finale almost 10 years ago already?
That's weird to say that, ain't it?
It is. It's real weird.
Because it feels like it just ended not long ago.
Well, it's kind of stayed relevant with Better Call Saul.
Yeah, true.
And then the movie El Camino, where we finally find out what happened with Jesse Pinkman. But
Better Call Saul came out a few years ago. That was like 19, wasn't it?
I think it was 2018, 2019.
Wow.
Yeah, so time's flying on us, and Better Call Saul ended last year, but it took me quite some time to finally watch it. Crazy stuff. I never thought Breaking Bad would, when it was first announced, I never thought it would get this big. But man, they certainly struck gold with this one, and there was a lot of stuff that could have gone in a different way that I don't know if it would have been as successful as it was what it turned out to be. So I guess we'll go through the rundown. How did you come across Breaking Bad? What was your first experience with it?
So actually, I didn't start it when it actually started. Was that 2008, I think? I was introduced to it when I came out of the Marine Corps in 2011, and I ended up moving in with my in-laws for what was supposed to be a few months, 2 years later. But no, so I was hanging out with my father-in-law, and he's like, "You ever watch Breaking Bad?" I was like, "I've heard of it. I've never really watched it though." You know, he's like, "Okay." He's like, I just finished up season 3. He's like, "But I'll start over for you." I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "I don't know if you have to do that, you know." But sat down, we started watching it, and dude, I was hooked. You know, we binged the hell out of it, and we just finished at about like a week or two before season 4 started, because season 4 started in summer of 2011, so it was kind of weird timing when it all of a sudden just popped on. Like, it's not like shows now where they start in September and they end in May, you know, with the school years as I feel like they're tied to. But yeah, dude. And then season 4 came out, and I think it was July of 11, and we started watching it every week.
Yeah.
And man, was I hooked, dude.
Is it ever one of those shows that streaming benefited this show a lot?
Oh, for sure.
You cannot stop watching this show once you get hooked. How I come across it, I knew about it. I just never considered watching it for whatever reason. I heard about it. It was always it was kind of a slow burner. It took a little bit to get really going, and I remember watching this feature when they're talking about season 3. And they were like, "Oh, this is when Walt really turns into the bad guy." And I was still like, "Well, you know, I'll watch it if I ever get a chance." And one weekend, I was over at my uncle's house on the east side, and we're recovering from the night before. And we're going through Netflix, and we both kind of were like, let's check it out. What the heck? We have nothing else to watch right now. And that opening scene when he is like driving the RV or the crystal ship,
Hmm.
and everyone's got gas masks on in the front seat.
Oh
There's
yes.
bodies sliding in the back. I'm like, what is this? And he hops out in his underwear and, you know, pretty much just, you know, holds the gun down the road at the sirens coming. And I'm like, how is this going to end? Like, I was like, and then all of a sudden it gets back and it's just this normal life of this guy. And I was like, okay. For a lot of people, they tell me, like, oh, the first couple seasons are eh. I was hooked first 30 seconds in. I was like, this is wild stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's a slow burning show. It is what it is, but everything that happens in this show matters, and we'll touch on that more. But it was really, really good. It caught my attention right away. And yeah, I mean, pretty much the rest is history. And you know what's funny, when they first introduced Malcolm in the Middle, I'm getting ahead of myself. Breaking Bad, they chose Bryan Cranston. I was like, the dad from Malcolm in the Middle, like it was hard for me to picture him in that role. And like I said, I didn't start talking. I didn't well, and that was the summer of, oh my gosh, or was it spring of 2012? So I was just before season 5 started.
Okay.
So I had to binge that show constantly just to try. I had a goal. I have to make it to season 5 so I can watch season 5 on AMC, you know, regular syndicate, which was the first time I ever had to wait for a Breaking Bad episode. And I swear to God, my blood was boiling, like itching, like, ugh, I need some more. I'm sick, you know. But yeah. So we were watching. The whole time, like, there's rumblings of Breaking Bad. It didn't really necessarily explode till it got on Netflix, and there were always rumblings of, man, you got to watch this, you got to watch this. You know, someone mentions something to you, or you mention someone, like, oh, you got to watch this, and you don't for like
Hmm.
the longest time. Then you finally watch it, like, yeah, I should have checked this out a long time ago. So, but yeah, it was just weird. Like Bryan Cranston, I was like, that's odd hearing, because he was sort of typecasted in these comedic roles, like through Seinfeld, and you know all these jokey, weird roles. Like, I mean, Malcolm in the Middle, he was
Hmm.
fantastic in. But I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't see it. Yeah, I was wrong.
Yeah. No. No shit. I would have never thought the show would have turned out the way it did with him in it, just because you got that comedic Bryan Cranston and Malcolm in the Middle, and you're like, oh, dude, this is supposed to be like a serious show. Like, wait, making
Right?
drug like in meth? Like what? Hold on, you know. But
Yeah.
man, did it take off? Man,
It.
Bryan Cranston did an amazing job playing Walter White. Man, oh,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Yeah. And thankfully that happened, because there were two people picked before him,
Yes.
and it was Matthew Broderick and John Cusack.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew Broderick, take a hike. I don't see it. I don't know how. I don't know if he auditioned incredibly, but I can't picture that one, like, at all above Bryan Cranston. Like
Yeah. So
Matthew.
I got a little bit of insight on that. Um, so the director or creator of the show, director, um, Vince Gilligan, he originally obviously wanted he wanted Bryan Cranston as the lead for Breaking Bread, with working on him with the X Files, because he was on the X
Yes.
Files,
Yep.
and then so he started in X Files, and that's when Gilligan was like, I want him as Walter White for Breaking Bad. AMC felt differently because of this, and they wanted um, Matthew Broderick. So they're like, this is what we want to go, towards that. And then not until after the executives at AMC seen the X Files episode is when they
Hmm.
changed their mind to go with Bryan Cranston.
Thank goodness someone did their homework then.
I know, right?
Ooh, oh my goodness. I wonder why Matthew Broderick. There's not a
I don't
single
know.
piece of work of his to where I'd be like, okay. Let's give it a shot.
The only thing I can think of, and it's still not even that time frame, is he was I wouldn't call it relevant, but he's a relevant actor at that time. He had some decent movies out there. People liked him, but
Hmm.
even still, that's not. I mean, majority of his movies I felt were like in the '90s or late '90s.
Yeah,
But when this is coming a decade later, maybe I don't know.
yeah,
It just didn't line up right. It was weird, really weird.
yeah. Ferris Bueller's Day Off to cook meth.
Yeah, but I, but there is actually something interesting because um, after reading all that, I guess Cusack never actually turned down the role.
Really?
Yeah, he actually went to Twitter and said that I never turned down the role. They just chose to go a different route. So
Ooh.
that was interesting.
I would love to see his audition tape because
That'd be interesting.
I think he could, like him over Broderick. I think he could pull it off. In fact, I could almost see him being almost more depressing. He might have been too depressing. I could see that. Um, I don't know though. He's good. I, but I don't. Bryan Cranston, like when I was going to school for video. One of my teachers said, he goes, you have to understand. He goes, you can have everything right. You can have a great script, cameras, crew, everything, marketing, everything can be right. He goes, but if you don't have that cast magic, he called it cast magic. He goes, it won't be as good. And he gave up a lot. He gave out a lot of shows. He goes, look at that '70s show, and this was way back. This was 20 years ago. He goes, look at that '70s show. That cast has magic. It works. They work well together. They make each other. They bounce off each other very well. And I'm wondering if maybe Cusack didn't have that. He might have, but I'll tell you what, they got it right with Bryan Cranston for
Oh,
sure.
for sure.
And thank
100%.
Lord, one of those. Thank Lord, one of those guys went back and did some homework and watched that X-Files episode, and for him to push that hard,
Mm-hmm.
like no, I want to work with Walter White, because of the X-Files, because wow, because
Work with Walter White because of X Files.
yeah, Walter White, yeah. See, that's how convincing Cranston is, man.
I was so convinced.
That's how
It's
yeah,
not even his name in real life.
yeah, that's him now. He's a Walter White now.
Yeah,
Dang.
that's crazy though, huh?
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. I'm super glad to wait. Maybe on another in another dimension, Broderick and Cusack had their time and whatever. So, yeah, that's on them. I'm glad they did their homework. But one thing that Breaking Bad really did a good job on, a Better Call Saul did also. Strange intros that
Yeah, I know.
foreshadowed events that you had no idea was coming, hence foreshadowing. But what's awesome is that ability to go back and go, oh, that's what that is. For example, the after the plane. Well, you didn't know the plane blew up yet. Um, but the teddy bear floating in the pool.
Yes. Oh, I got that on my list too.
Yeah, floating in the pool and half of it's blown off, and it's cool because you see that, and then what happens with Gus Fring, and we'll get with him later. It throws it back. You're like, oh my gosh, the foreshadowing is absolutely fantastic. But yeah, like strange intros, like I said, the first episode got me hooked.
Yeah.
Who opens a show like that? You know what I mean? So
Jesus, dude.
yeah, you got any intros you want to talk about?
Um, yeah, I got actually. I put a couple down because what you wrote down, and then I was thinking about it for a while, but just symbolism is in it. I got two other ones. I had the teddy bear down, but two other ones. The fly. So the fly infiltrates the lab, as
Mm-hmm.
and then I feel that represents the growth of the contamination and the decay of like Walter's empire.
Oh, whoa!
That's the way I looked at it. Like that, like he was so focused on getting that fly out and that he ignored everything else, you know.
Oh
So
man. Okay.
so that was
Nice.
one, and then the Heisenberg hat. You know, when that hat represents his alter ego.
Mm-hmm.
When that hat comes on, he's 100% a different person. He's the darker, ruthless side of his actual personality. So those are the two other things that I had for symbolism. And everything matters, you know.
Yeah.
But
Everything does.
it's
Yeah.
crazy though, right? Dude, it's a symbolism in this show is it's crazy.
It's through the
It
roof.
really is crazy.
It is through the roof. Cause remember the dude? Oh my gosh, off the top of my head, I can't remember him. The guy he had in his basement with the bike lock
Oh,
around the pole.
Crazy Eight.
Yeah. You know they
Is
were
that it?
talking about.
Yeah, yeah, Crazy Eight.
They were talking about how he worked at a furniture store,
Mm-hmm.
and Walt knew of the furniture store. And did you notice that Haley's crib is from Crazy Eight's family's furniture store?
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah, there's a scene
No
in it.
way.
Yeah, I was like, holy cow! It's funny. I didn't catch that until the rewatch. I'll be honest.
Okay.
I watched it through a few times. This series, because yeah, it's awesome.
It is.
Yeah, and a couple watch throughs will definitely do you well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, do you have a top episodes? Let's just say episodes. Let's do a top three maybe.
Episodes. So, man, I guess I can't think of the actual title,
They're all
but it
weird,
was
oddly
yeah,
titled episodes.
but it was Hank's final episode. I think
Yes,
that was a really good one.
that was my
Um,
top one. It's called I'm gonna get this wrong. Ozymandias.
yeah, that's the ain't it like a
Ozymandias.
poem or something like that?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure.
I remember it's something to do with like a poem. I thought it was at least, but I could be wrong. But yeah, that episode was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Everything
Yeah.
was perfectly shot, perfectly created. You know, Jack is preparing to execute Hank, and Walter like begs him. You know, just
Yeah.
begs him. It was you really felt his normal Walter White side come out. Like, no, you can't kill him. You know,
Yep.
it's not that Heisenberg character at
Persona.
that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Oh man, he even
Yeah.
offered him like all his money. Didn't he offer him all his money?
Take it all. Yeah.
He's like, you can have it all. Just keep
Just
him
don't
alive.
hurt him. Yep.
Nope. I didn't end well.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you what, I had that one on, and my then girlfriend, who's now my wife, walked into the room. She's like, "What are you watching?" It's like Breaking Bad, and that was the moment where Jack had Hank on the ground, and how he absolutely just caps him mid sentence.
Oh,
My girlfriend, then my wife gasped because it was so unexpected for her. It was
yeah.
unexpected for me. I was like, "Dude, Hank is dead," and I was just like, I I was like upset. I was like, "There's no way that just happened."
He's such a big. I mean, he was in all the whole entire show.
Yeah, and to throw it back about the foreshadowing, if you notice, that's how Hank kills Jack mid sentence.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, if you kill me
Oh, no way.
wounded on the ground, you never get your money. Gone, gone. Walt didn't care.
Oh, I
At
didn't
that
realize
moment.
that. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
he caps him
I just
like
wanted
that.
him to get killed anyways.
Oh, so
He was
bad.
a fucking a terror, man.
Yeah, so bad. That was
Actually, in our past episode, I had him as one of the what I can't think of what it was. One of our top villains or something in our that one top 10 best underrated villains.
yeah,
Remember, I'm pretty sure I put Jack in, or it was a maybe close second or so. I don't remember 100%, but I had him on the list as one of the most underrated
yeah.
villains.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't even get me started on Todd.
Oh God, Todd's another one too.
I'll tell you what, a strange
Ugh.
opening that led to an absolute gut punch of an episode, and even a worst intro, probably the darkest intro in all of Breaking Bad was the intro.
Mm.
Before was the kid on the dirt bike and he
Yeah,
caught
I
the
knew it.
spider, and then at the end they just robbed the train, and Todd seems like this, like, oh, Mr. White, go, like, good guy, well, like, not necessarily a good guy, but a respectful little twat, and shoots the child. And I was like, what did I just watch? And all of a sudden you have to wait. I had to wait. And I was like, what in the world? And then the worst intro, they got the bike, they're cutting up the bike, they get the acid out. I'm like, there is no way I am seeing this right now. Absolutely one of the deepest, darkest sequences in television. Period.
Correct.
And yeah, that was the beginning of the end. Absolutely for like Jesse.
Oh
Could
yeah.
not, he couldn't fathom it. It was heavy on
No.
him.
You
And
know, speaking of just like the kid in general, it's in all shows, movies. I feel like touching the kids is not, you know, it, they don't do it.
right.
But when it does happen, it really messes with your mind,
Yes.
and because you always think like, oh, they won't do that.
Yeah.
So, for instance, because this is kind of funny, but we watched family movie night the other night, Evil Dead Rise. That's what the kids picked.
Oh my
This is
goodness.
what the kids picked. Anyways, so if anybody hasn't seen it, spoiler on this, but the part where they're looking through the peephole and that little kid's there, remember? He goes running down the hall
Yeah.
and she runs after him, and then all you see is him get thrown into the corner of the wall, instantly dead, just boosh.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And even my wife was like, oh, I was like, I did not see them killing the little kid. Like
right.
that, it just doesn't process in your mind that they're gonna kill off a kid.
Yeah.
And then Breaking Bad, I was like, they're not gonna kill him off. They'll, they're just gonna scare him or something.
Yep.
And I had the most hate in the world for Todd after that.
Yeah.
And I did. I wanted to hurt him.
Yes. Man, yeah, that was one of the times where I was like, after an episode,
Yeah.
like, whoa.
I know it was so bad.
And then you go a week thinking about it, and then the opening scene is even not worse, but it just reminds you
just
of it.
as bad.
And
Yeah.
it's like, oh my God, guys, like
Yeah.
how far are we willing to go? And I think Jesse really signified the audience, like,
Mhm.
this is no, this is not okay. And it really showed how evil Walt is willing to, how bad he's willing to get.
Yeah.
And just for that, and off the top of my head, he was in remission. So
Yes, he
he's
was.
not even
He
having to do this
Yeah.
right now. And
It consumed him already.
yeah. Oh gosh.
Damage is done.
Yeah.
And I felt, and in a way, I kind of feel bad for Jesse because he does have a lot of guilt in him as a character, and I know he struggled with that afterwards.
He struggled through it actually the whole series, if you think
Yeah.
about it.
Oh, dude, the whole entire, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
His troubled past, his issues with his mom and dad, and
He had to kill
his
Gail.
relationships. Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about Gail.
Yeah.
Gail's another character.
When he's singing all happy.
Yeah.
That was another one. That was another ending that was, holy crap.
Mm-hmm. That's what gets you though. These endings, you're like, whoa.
Yeah. The ending. These endings, I'm not getting anything done. The ending happens, I'm watching the next one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I said,
that's,
it's like,
that's the worst part, right?
It's like a can of Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop.
Yeah.
No, seriously. we're watching a season in a day, hon. We're not getting
Yeah.
anything done.
What'd you do on Saturday? Watch 16 episodes of Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
Wow.
literally. And people understand too. They're like, "Oh yeah, for real, cool." Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one.
yeah, yeah. Dude, it's wild. It's wild. But we go through, the symbolism. The symbolism and foreshadowing is huge in this show. Everything, like I said, every single thing matters. And on the rewatch, and I don't know how I missed this because they touch on it lightly, but when Walt Jr. Opens up the website for his father, who it's used to launder the money that that Walt is using for making the what is it, the blue what was his drug name called? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Was it Blue Magic?
I think it was Blue Magic. Or was that from
No, that's
Blue
from
Sky?
like The Wire.
Yeah, that was Blue Magic. I think it was from American Gangster. It was Blue Sky.
That's right. Yeah,
Blue
yeah.
Sky. Ooh, oh man, we could have ran with that in the wrong direction for a while, huh?
Well, I was actually thinking about it's like there was another show or something with that. I remember now. Yeah, Blue Magic was that was American
something.
Gangster.
Samsonite. I was
Yeah, the
way
hell's
off.
way. I knew it started with an S though.
Yeah. So,
Uh.
the ding every time something's made, ding, ding, ding.
Oh,
I was like, holy cow, that's his freaking wheelchair. The wheelchair ding.
oh,
I
Hector.
couldn't believe it when Hector
Yeah.
Salamanca. And there's a scene where Walt notices it and he's actually getting agitated with that ding. And, he just escaped Tuco and Hector.
Mhm.
And, yeah, just crazy.
Yeah, dude, that ding. Oh, man, that ding.
Yeah. And then, gosh, wasn't it in, it was in it. They did a really good job on the outro music. They would always incorporate something, and they did one with that ding. And I'm gonna have to find it. But gosh, was that good? But yeah, there was plenty of symbolism. Like there's a lot of stuff that Walt does. Have you ever noticed when he gets sick from chemo again? When he gets chemo, he lays a towel down to rest on his knees, like Gus.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Yeah, when Gus was poisoned, he did the exact same thing.
Oh, he did. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he had to throw it up. He had to get it all out of his system.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah. There's a ton of stuff that Walt adapts from everyone that he...
See, I'm sure if you went through this show again, you could probably pull a list of foreshadowing events.
Yeah. It would be...
Seriously.
Like Leonardo DiCaprio, that meme from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He's pointing at the screen. Yeah. That would be us. That would be anybody through the whole thing. Like, oh, I didn't notice that. Yeah.
I actually do want to try to watch this again. I'm trying to get my wife into it, and I feel like she's into that point where she's like, well, you already watched it, and it's like, I want to be able to be surprised with you. But I was like, but I'll probably be surprised again.
Yeah.
Because some of this, I do remember a lot of the show, but I'm going to kind of forget. I need a refresher since we've watched the show. So I feel like it would be beneficial to go through it all again and watch it. So I feel like she's getting to that point where she's like, okay, let's just watch it. I was like, we can binge it in a solid weekend. We can get through a good portion.
Yeah.
But we just got to do it, and her dad, my father-in-law, this is his ultimate all-time favorite show. So when we get together and stuff, and we'll always bring up like the moments and stuff where we'll be doing something and it reminds him of a moment in Breaking Bad, so he'll bring it up. He's like, it's like that time Walter did this, or that time Mike was going here. It's like, that's what I love about it, because we start chatting about it. Oh man, he's the first person to tell me that the guy who played Hector Salamanca passed away. He's like,
no kidding.
Did you see who died?
He beat me to the punch, huh?
Yeah. And it's actually funny because you sent that text not shortly after. Mm-hmm. So, but he's like, yeah, the guy who played Hector Salamanca. I was like, oh no. I was like, no more bell, huh?
Yeah.
The final bell has rung.
Ding, 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 ding.
Man. Yeah, it's crazy.
Good stuff.
Oh.
You know what's wild is
Wow.
how everything is full circle because we find out about um, one of the most we talk about how evil Walt could get.
Mm.
I think one of the first gut punch I ever experienced watching. We talked about the kid and all this, but Jane, Jane
Oh,
comes
that was
in.
rough.
Yeah, Jane comes in as this cool character. She's Jesse's, yin to his yang, and they're good until um, one of Jesse's friends dies. Ends up getting shot. That was a crazy opener. Holy cow! When the little kid shoots him,
Oh, that was that big dude.
turtle.
Turtle, yeah.
Yeah,
Hey man, get out of here. Get out of
yeah,
here.
and he's eyeing the other two, and all of a sudden, boom! And his drink
Again,
breaks.
how much like crap happens and you were never expecting it. You're like,
No,
what just happened? The
yeah,
little
because yeah,
kid took him out?
all those two dudes did was honk the car, or honk the horn.
Yeah.
It was like, holy jeez. So she comes in and helps him out, and he even says, he goes, "You got to get out of here. I'm gonna smoke some meth." Man, how much I wish she would have walked out that door.
Well,
And
that set a whole rail of things to happen
well,
after
she was a
that.
villain. She turned right into a
Yeah.
villain.
Yeah.
Jesse got hooked on heroin.
Hmm.
They both turned into absolute junkies. The dad is struggling,
That's what I
trying to
mean.
keep it clean.
Everything. That was
Yeah,
a bad,
the domino
bad,
effect.
bad
And
time.
but the day Walt comes in and they're both strung out on heroin, and she mentions, lay on your side in case you puke, and Walt's trying to wake Jesse up, and she flings over, and all of a sudden she OD and she's starting to puke, and he leaves her.
Just watches.
Just watches, and I was
That
like,
was so intense.
yeah, I was like, oh my lord, I yeah, and he feels upset
Mm.
after she dies, and I
Well,
was
that
like, Bryan Cranston actually cried after that. He had a hard time with it,
wow.
and and then it leads to the father having a hard time,
Hmm.
and ends up is the root cause of the plane crashing. That
Yeah, he's the air traffic controller.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the plane crash signifies through the whole show. Everyone's wearing the blue ribbon, um, and man, I'll tell you what, I think that was a huge portion of Walt's kill count.
Oh,
Indirectly,
easy.
indi-
Indirectly for sure.
killed 269 people through this whole show, and it was funny. Like my brother and I were talking about it, and after Breaking Bad, I watched a documentary on meth. This dude killed way more people.
Oh,
This
for
is not,
sure. Indirectly for sure.
yes, this
Yeah.
is not a drug. They're like, I'm gonna go smoke this real quick. I'll be right back and be a normal functioning human being.
Hmm.
Nope, no. So Walt is not
Yeah.
responsible for 269 deaths. He is probably responsible for thousands and thousands and thousands.
Hmm. Just to, I wanted to say something about when he was watching Jane. You really got to see both of his personas at that time. He had
Come,
Walt was more compassionate, like he's like, "Oh
mm-hmm.
no, I don't want this to happen." But then you have Heisenberg, who's like, "She's a threat because as long as she's around, Jesse's going to be messing around, and that's going to be directly affect him as his business or in his business." So
Mm-hmm.
that was a powerful moment there, man.
Yeah,
Just watching him, she was like, just dude, it's so bad. She's just joking.
yeah,
Oh, it was horrible.
yeah. And then when
But you
she
could
finally,
tell, like he's just like, she's got to go.
yep,
Just let it happen.
yep. And then when she finally stops gasping and she's dead, it's like Heisenberg goes away and
Yeah,
Walt's just like, it just yeah,
yeah, that was so crazy.
that was bad.
Yeah.
That was. Oh my gosh, this is starting to make me wanna watch this show again, like real bad.
So getting back onto that, the kills, the direct or indirect and direct kills
Yeah.
list. I have down. I'm just trying to think. Maybe you remember more. I have him actually killing 6 people.
Yeah, yeah. There was 100 and some odd. There was a lot of passengers on that plane. I don't remember.
So like actually throughout the show, I feel like he's only Walter White has only killed 6 people.
Let's walk through.
Actually, physically killed.
Yeah,
So
let's walk through it. Go ahead.
The
Go
first one I got down is Crazy 8.
Yep.
Because he chokes him in the basement of
because of that piece of missing plate. Ooh.
Yeah. So, and then the episode where Walter ran over the 2 drug dealers.
Yep.
So I figured they died, and then they fatally shot one of them. So I mean, that's 2. So there's 3. Yeah. And then Gus would be 1.
No, that would
that would be
indirect.
That wouldn't be that. So he killed Hector then, because he set up the bomb.
Okay.
On his wheelchair.
Yeah.
So that's 4. Okay, so Gus would not be 1. That would make sense then. And then I have Mike, because he shot Mike.
What a
So that's
scene.
5. So if 5, only 5 kills directly. But this is what I had. So.
Okay. Yeah, you forgot Jack.
Oh shoot. Oh, hold on, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did forget him.
Yeah.
I just said it not too long ago in the beginning.
Yeah. It's all good. There's a lot of stuff to cover.
That's what I mean. Like it's so hard to keep track of everything. But yeah, so 6. It was 6.
You can actually count himself because he got shot by his own gun.
That's true, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, who saw that one coming? I like that scene when it finally goes silent and that guy's chair is still moving.
Mm-hmm.
Just the dude, just dead body on there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, all that to save Jesse. And talking about a pivotal moment. Unless you got more to say, you got more?
No. No. That was it basically with the direct kills, because I was just kind of thinking over like exactly who he was killing, but everything else is indirectly then.
Yeah. Talking about killing, someone that was supposed to die season 1 was Jesse Pinkman.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I had no idea.
Man, what a mistake that would have been. That would have been bad. That would have been.
He's such a key player throughout the entire show. I wonder why they picked or they decided to do that.
I don't know. I don't think they expected Aaron Paul to be so good. Maybe they just didn't realize the chemistry between the two was
true. That could have possibly been it.
Yeah, almost second to none.
Chemistry.
Yo, that's a
science.
Science. Yeah, I love it. Science. Yes, Mr. White. Yeah,
that was awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, it
could have been.
Yeah,
you might be right. Maybe they're so fluent that they just were like, no, dude, let's keep him around and let's let this roll.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic choice. Even man, that scene when Walt's like, you wanna when you finally find out why Walt is doing what he's doing. I'm in the Empire business. He's talking to Jesse about it. You start getting a little sneak in on his past. He goes, stay for dinner, and they're eating, and it's like a super awkward dinner, and Jesse's sitting there spinning his fork. He's like, man, these green beans are good. What'd you do? And all this stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
she's like, did Walt tell you I banged my boss? And he's like drinking his water like, yeah. It's like super awkward. That is one thing that is Breaking Bad. It's such a dark, we visit the depths of absolute hell that these characters go to. But man, there are some funny parts in this show. When Skinny Pete and Badger, you don't even know what they're talking about, and they're talking about a blueberry
Oh my
pie eating
gosh.
contest on the
Yes.
SS Enterprise. And
Yes.
Scotty's sitting there warping out blueberries from the guy's stomach. And then he sees Fiona, that fine piece of ass. Oops, slips. Boom! Dude, I have tried to find that on YouTube because I was like rolling laughing. How ridiculous that was.
Speaking of them too, when Skinny Pete and Badger, they're shining the laser pointers at each other while Walter and Jesse's trying to find the fly. You're sitting there with the laser pointers. What a bunch of tools, man.
Yeah, and come to find out, those laser pointers play a key factor in the last episode.
Yeah.
They're the two deadly assassins.
Oh, God, dude.
Yo, something about this don't feel right, man. Then he hands him his money. Yeah, I think I'm cool with it.
God, man. Their stoner humor is awesome.
Yeah,
the whole show, you know.
Them two were perfect together.
Oh, man.
I could have gone for a whole like little mini series of like 15-minute skits with these two because they're so
for sure,
funny.
For sure. Oh, they run that street corner business combo center, and they're selling like items like stolen air fresheners and cell phones. Yeah. A taser. They had a taser. Like, where the hell they get this? They tried to run this freaking street corner store.
Yeah. You know, one of the best openings was Badger. When the guy's like, hey, can I buy, this nerdy dude walks up like from Road Trip. Like, can I buy some drugs? You know, you're a cop. You're a cop in the flower, and Badger's sitting there pointing out all this stuff. Like, you're a cop, dude. Get out of here. Ends up selling to him anyway, and he's a cop.
Yeah.
It's like, you idiot. God.
Oh, that was funny, dude.
Yeah. Them two were a certain high point, a little breath of fresh air when it come to some comedic value. And
wait, you needed to mix in a little bit of the humor into it, and it helped. It really did help it, you know, because it's such a serious show. Like, everything was serious, but then you got this little jab here and there.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, okay.
You know, and they brought in this. You know, they also brought in one of the most eccentric characters, Saul Goodman.
True. Yeah, they did, huh?
Whoa, what a Bob Odenkirk. What a. Oh my gosh. Let's talk about the cast of this show.
Yeah, let's do this.
They did such a freaking good job on casting, and we touched on it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, if you got a list, we can roll. We've already done.
I mean, I just put in some basic the main characters basically, and then I think I got no, that's about it really. It's just the main character.
Yeah.
So we'll start off.
And for the record, Odenkirk. I know it's Pop Odenkirk.
Yeah.
I got too
excited.
excited.
we start off with Bryan Cranston or Aaron Paul, I guess. It don't matter, but we kind of already touched on Bryan Cranston. So I mean, we kind of touched on Aaron Paul, you know.
Yeah.
We'll start there, you know. To me, he was that tragic hero.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loved him, but he had, like I was saying earlier, that troubled past. He had a really bad relationship with his parents, and then his personal struggles all together. And Aaron Paul portrayed him to perfection, just like Bryan Cranston did Walter White. It was amazing. You know, it was super, super good, and I was in awe with those two characters.
Yeah. Anna Gunn as Skylar White.
Skylar White, yeah.
Fantastic job. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to touch on this in a little bit. Man, you know, she was perfect. She was so good. Very likable at first. And for whatever reason, everything just keeps dipping down. She follows that flow, almost like the audience, like depressed and angry. Anna Gunn actually got a lot of hate for Skylar.
She did.
And that's BS. And we're gonna touch on that a little later. So, Anna Gunn, fantastic job, as everyone on this flippin' show. But she was very good. And Dean Norris as Hank Schrader.
Oh, Hank.
who else? Who else could pull that one off? Fantastic job. It's funny. A while back, just a couple years ago, I was like going through his stuff, and they're like, "Yeah, he's in Terminator 2." I said, "Where is he in Terminator 2?" And when Miles Dyson is on the ground wounded and he's holding the switch, I can't hold this any longer. And the guy, the SWAT member that says, "Get out! Get out!" That's Dean Norris.
No way.
Yes.
No one would have noticed that.
Yeah.
Man.
I was like, get
Especially
out
at
of
that
here.
time.
Yeah, I mean, you can't see it.
Gosh.
He's got a mask on and everything. But I was like, no kidding. That's pretty cool. It makes me enjoy that scene more. Like, that could
Wow.
I'll just pretend that's like Hank's beginning as an agent. You know?
Yeah. Oh, that he played that character really good. He's dedicated to the force, right? You know, he still joked around and stuff, but he showed a lot of commitment to justice.
He was
through that character.
Yes. He had a moral stance that would not break for anyone.
No.
Not anyone or nothing.
He had that relentless pursuit for drug dealers. Remember how he always, hey, you want to go on a ride along, Hank? Or
Yeah.
Hank.
Yeah.
Walt.
Well,
He's like, yeah, I'll go on a ride along.
yeah.
Like, you know, he's like, yeah, this is what we're gonna do today.
And, you know, I think
solid determination.
Yes, and you start seeing him. He's got this macho, sarcastic, jokey. It's almost a facade because when he gets affected by a lot of stuff. When he sees the informant's head on that turtle.
Oh, the turtle.
Yes, Danny Trejo's head on the turtle.
That's another foreshadowing moment.
Yeah, and it blew up. Like, dude, he had a hard time with that. When he got Tuco's grill as a gift, and he's looking at it. You know, all these events are having an effect on him.
I have to rewatch this show.
Yes, dude.
Like, there's no way. Just talking about this now, it's pushed me now to.
I know.
I'm going to rewatch the whole show.
Yeah, and then when Walt and Jack pull off one of the most incredible assassinations on Mike's crew, you know, Hank finds out and he goes home and he sits down at Walt. Who's there? Walt, the guy who constructed everything, and he's talking about a job that he had as a teen where he just walked through the woods and he would mark trees to get cut down, and how peaceful that was compared to what he dealt with now. Like, he's dealing with monsters and, you know, probably some of the worst people that ever walked the earth. You know, the shootout with the twins. What a scene that was.
Yes, I have them on that list too.
Yeah, too easy. But
so Dean Norris was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have Walter White Jr. down.
Mm-hmm.
He was
R.J. Mitt
player in this whole R.J. Mitt. He maintains a strong sense of loyalty to his family through the whole thing. You know, he just wants to help. He wants to do good in his father's eyes, I feel. He's kind of restricted a lot, right? He's got cerebral palsy.
Mm-hmm.
But he played that character awesome.
And, you know, his episode, I think it was the first episode, when you really start seeing Heisenberg for the first time, and when they're trying the pants on at the store, and those teenagers, look at my big boy pants, and Walt just walks away all sad. And he's barging in and kicks that bully's leg out. And it was like, whoa, what is this? You know, like, holy cow. And I think that was a kind of a glimpse on the levels Walt is willing to go. A little peek of Heisenberg before Heisenberg was even, you know, around. But
yeah, it was. That was a huge time difference in those two.
Yeah.
You know, because Heisenberg really didn't come out until it was like the end of the season.
I think it was end of the season, or was it season 2? Where he
Might have
started
been
wearing the
season
hat
2.
and glasses.
Yeah.
In front of Tuco. And, you know, what was... No one really... You know, when people, you know, say they feel bad for characters. I really feel bad for. I mean, he shares his father's name, Walter White Jr. He goes by was it Flynn for a while, where he doesn't want to. He doesn't want his father's name, and probably has to do that afterward. After everything went to hell, Walt's known as Heisenberg.
Yeah, he had no choice there.
Yeah, and man, made a strong choice. When Walt and Skylar were fighting with the knife, what a scene! And he gets between him and his mom and calls the cops on his dad. You know how heavy that had to have been for him to,
for sure.
You know, like, no, it's over. You know. So yeah, great character. Bob Odenkirk, Saul Goodman.
Saul Goodman.
Yeah.
Saul Goodman.
Yeah. What awesome.
Yeah,
how awesome that was. That was very cool.
I love it, actually, in Better Call Saul. We're like, or it might have been, no, actually, it's been Breaking Bad. They're like, Saul Goodman? Really?
Yeah.
Like, we were like, yeah. Saul Goodman.
Remember, don't drink and drive. And if you do, better call Saul.
Yeah.
What a jerk. What a jerk.
He played an awesome role, though.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Betsy Brandt as Marie Schrader.
Yeah.
I feel like anyone could have played that, but she was good.
I have her just listed as a character. I don't have an actual anything down for her because she wasn't. Yeah, it could have been anyone. She's you know, she's from Michigan.
I did not.
City.
No.
Yeah, she's from Bay City.
Wow.
But yes, that was just a whatever character.
Yeah.
Character.
Yeah. Jonathan Banks is Mike Ehrmantraut.
Oh God.
Oh, what a.
He was one of my favorite characters for some reason.
He was awesome.
He just had that calm, collective mentality. Like, what do you want, Walter?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Then
okay.
Come to find out, he had such a nice side for his granddaughter, and
yeah, I felt bad for him. You know,
had to leave her at the park.
I'll actually bring that up. I'll bring that up later.
Okay.
For another topic we have listed, but yeah, I'm glad they explored his past a little bit as that former police officer, and then all the events that happened with his son's death.
I think that was Better Call Saul.
Was it really?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, it was, because that's when it showed him as the parking lot attendant and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotta mix it up.
Dude, it's beautiful though. Isn't that cool? That's how well Better Call Saul pulls it in.
Because they never said anything about any of his son or anything. We just knew him as a bad guy.
Yep.
Right? Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Man. Well, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, he was a great character, and his ability to maintain his composure and think several steps ahead. The whole safe house with Gus and stuff, like that was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it Better Call Saul too?
What's that?
No. When they had Gus in the safe house. No, that was Breaking Bad. That was Breaking Bad.
When they had him in the safe house for what?
Remember, he was looking through Hector's nephew was looking for Gus.
I think it was Better Call Saul.
Man, dude, I'm so checked out. Remember, because he was looking in the sewer. He was across the street in the sewer.
Yeah, that's Better Call Saul. Yep.
Okay, I'm done today.
All right, well that's
too many moments.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up now. No,
dude, it is. I'm getting confused with all of them because they're so similar shows.
They're very
obviously
similar.
They're exact same characters, right?
Yeah.
But, okay, man.
Let's we'll touch on the next two, and I'm gonna butcher this guy's name, so I apologize.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm hoping you were saying him first.
I'm not even gonna try this first name. Esposito, Gus Fring. Holy cow! What a monotone, chill force of freaking evil this guy was. Oh my God.
He ran a successful fast food franchise. What can I say?
Yeah, fantastic fast food franchise. The chicken. Man, I tell you what, that scene, and off the top of my head, I can't. Victor, when he slashes Victor's throat, when you think he's gonna kill Jesse or Walt, I was just like, no,
Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, another moment.
Yeah. Like, what just happened? And then, but yeah, fantastic character. I'm surprised it hasn't opened up a lot more roles for him. But I don't. Yeah, crazy. And then Jesse Plemons as Todd. Ooh, probably the most unlikable character ever. And man, did he get what he got? But man, did he play him good?
Yeah, he's man.
Yeah.
And he was in El Camino too, right?
Uh,
Todd?
Todd.
Is that
No,
what you're talking about?
no, Todd. Yeah, he was dead. He died in the last episode. Unless he came back in a
Oh,
flashback. Yeah,
it was
remember?
flashbacks. He
Yeah,
was.
Jesse
Yeah.
choked him out, made that neck
Wait,
pop a little bit.
am I thinking who plays him? Todd?
Todd, Jesse Plemons. He looks like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon had a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
I
might
don't
have
know
been in
why.
El Camino. I think he was. They had a lot of flashbacks in El Camino.
I think that's what I'm getting confused with.
Yeah, it's very yeah. These things, dude, they bleed together, and it's kind of funny. I'm talking about two characters that are pretty funny that were played by comedians, but Huel played like
Oh God,
Lavelle
not a single
Crawford.
line.
Yeah, and then what's crazy, and I didn't know him my first time around, but I knew him the second time around. Bill Burr
Hmm.
was in this. I was like, get out of here! He's the one that stalled the truck over the train tracks.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, Bill Burr's in Breaking Bad.
yeah.
Who would have
Todd
thought?
was in El Camino. It was probably flashbacks.
Oh
He
yeah,
was
well,
in El
it
Camino.
had to be unless they build him into a cyborg. But yeah, what a cast! Fantastic cast. Ooh,
Then what do you think about the Salamanca twins?
terrifying.
Yes.
Um,
When they were, anytime they appeared, you're just like, oh, like it
yeah,
was kind of like a shocking moment
yup.
because they'd just be standing there, and you're like, damn, okay, like,
Yeah,
and they were.
yup.
That the physical appearance, they're big, they're tall. They always wore
Terrifying.
those suits, those immaculate suits.
Yeah, the shoes with
Yeah,
the tip toes with the
that's
skulls
like,
on them.
yeah, it's just crazy. But they like no dialogue, right? I don't think they ever talked.
I
At least in
think
Breaking Bad they did it.
at the
Maybe in
shootout
Better
they
Call
did.
Saul they did.
No, at the
Okay,
shootout they said like too easy or
yeah,
some.
something just super minimal
Yeah,
dialogue.
yeah,
Right.
man. When they showed up, remember they were sitting on Walter White's bed, waiting for him to get out of the shower, and they got the phone call to
Oh,
disappear,
yeah.
and he that was when Hank was offered, and
Woo.
man, were these two remember that scene? God, talk about weird intros. They get out of the car, and everyone's crawling to this like temple thing, and they crawl too, and they're just crawling and crawling. All of a sudden, they put the picture of Heisenberg, that little hand drawn picture, on the temple. It was like, woo, what in the world was that? And talk
Yeah.
about foreshadowing. The brother that survived in the hospital was crawling at Hank. Remember, he had no legs. You ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
But but he had no legs, and they're crawling at him.
Yeah.
And Walt's sitting there surrounded by cops, like, you know, like.
Yeah.
Then
Oh
come to
my
find out,
gosh.
Mike just snuck right in and killed the guy, doing what
That's
Mike
why I like
do.
Mike so much. Like Mike was just he was a good person to have around if you need protection and
Yeah,
you
a
needed
little bit.
and needed a plan of assault. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I remember him driving Jesse out to the desert, and Jesse was just terrified that he was gonna get killed. Like, man, you never knew with Mike, because he kind of held what Gus had, that monotone. You
Hmm.
can't read the guy at all.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he just followed the rules, right?
Yeah. Kid's a hero.
Mm, yep. Matt.
Yeah, and him and Jesse built a bond that Jesse wanted with Walt.
Walt.
but it was a
Yeah, I
true
agree.
bond. And Jesse started putting everything together. You killed Mike. Oh, that sucked.
That was a
Oh,
sad moment.
that was a sad moment, and that was all after he left. He had to leave his grandkid at his granddaughter at the park. I had to leave her. Like, how horrible is that?
Hmm.
You know how terrifying that kid had to have been? Ugh. God, what a gut punch.
Mm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I want to
The only
talk.
other character I had on there was Hector Salamanca too,
Yeah.
but we
Yeah.
kind of already touched on his whole
Rest in
abuse.
peace, by the way.
Yeah. So
Bummer. Yeah.
yeah.
You know, it's kind of funny. Um, what we were going to talk about with Skylar is Breaking Bad did a really good job at. I feel like the characters you disliked at the beginning, you know, you end up liking by the end of the show. They kind of revive themselves. Hank was tough to like at the beginning because of his persona.
Hmm.
Um, and they kind of really flipped it all around. Skylar wasn't liked throughout, which I feel like the writers did such a good job at. For whatever reason, people disliked the people that tried to do the right thing.
Yeah.
You know what I
No,
mean?
I agree. Yeah, I do. That you hit that spot on too.
Yeah,
Seriously.
we should not be cheering for Walt
No,
at
he's
all.
he's a horrible person, right? It's
This
it's like
man,
the anti-hero.
yeah, this man is the cancer to everyone just as much as that cancer is on his lungs.
Hmm.
He ruins lives. He ruined so many lives just to find out at the very end he did it for himself.
Yeah.
He went in for his family, sure. After that, I mean, he uprooted lives everywhere. Hank's killed. Jesse. I mean, Hank's in the hospital, and his eye is literally like crushed. And he told him, like, I have nothing at all because of you.
Hmm.
And Walt had a way to pull him in. And yeah, everyone that tried to do the right thing was not well liked. And if we're idolizing Walter White, it's an issue. That's a
Yeah.
big issue.
I tell you what, I'll give it to the show. I mean, all the characters throughout the entire show shows the ability to create that multi-dimensional figure,
Yes,
and that like created an incredible mark on
they're layered.
their audiences. It's amazing, and
Mm-hmm.
how they created such outstanding characters.
Yeah,
They're it's unbelievable.
and it's crazy because Anna Gunn got so much hate. And I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
if my significant other walks in and I have children, if my wife walks in and goes, listen, I am selling meth, or I'm making meth, I'm dealing with some dangerous people, I am not going to go, well, okay, things will be fine. No, I
You can
am,
do whatever you want.
yeah. Why would I leave my kids in this situation? Why would I do
Hmm.
this? She is absolutely handcuffed the whole show, and people don't like her for this. Like, no, I
Well, I feel like the reason why is because she creates that obstacle to Walter, where
yeah.
she's not allowing him to, do that,
Ugh,
do what that's the only thing I could think of, because I thought she was great. I thought
she's
her
awesome,
the character was perfect how she did it,
and
but
she started getting poisoned by him.
because she was going with everything.
Yeah, she started
At one
going with
point,
it.
she started being like that the numbers person, like she was creating all the laundering when they had the car wash, and
Yeah.
she undergoes her own transformation, I guess you
Hmm.
can say. And she was accepting. She resisted in the beginning, but then she accepted Walter's criminal activity, throughout the show,
He
and then
poisoned her pretty
and
much.
then eventually she
Yeah.
she came clean to herself, and then she did
Yeah.
what she did. But yeah, I think it's just the over judging and the nagging. that she did. I think that's why people don't like her as
I
much. And like I said, she was that obstacle.
I think it was not seeing the big picture.
Mm.
Because yeah, I mean, she got just like Jesse. He manipulated her. She's going along with everything, and she actually called the hit on Jesse. Remember?
That's right.
What's one more?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's right.
And
Wow.
yeah, she got dark, and then finally, when she realized it went too far, and as far as I'm concerned, completely redeemed herself when she turned on Walt. Like, no, no more. And yeah, ooh, yeah, she I don't think she deserved. You're right. She was the big thing, but like, as like removing ourselves from the story, if you look at everything, it's like no, Skylar acted like a pretty reasonable human being, like,
Mm-hmm.
and then Marie when she tried to take, Haley,
Yep.
tried to take Haley, who would not do that? Like no, I am removing this kid. Like
Yeah.
there are people in black. Remember, Todd showed up in Haley's room, and Skylar just opens the door. They're all standing there. Like, no, the situation is not good at all. And in fact, I think Skylar was a
God.
little too. She got poisoned. She got manipulated. She was right there. Remember, she was right there with the cops when Hank tried to come back, and
Mm-hmm. Wow. What?
it could have
Just now
happened.
thinking about it, she did. She did play an awesome character.
Yeah,
You
but
don't. I guess you don't really look at it until you dissect the character
yeah,
itself. You know.
yeah. I mean, she didn't have to go bang Todd Beneke.
Yeah.
God, oh, what a man! Did he get? That's another life ruined.
Uh.
When he trips on the carpet and breaks his head, and they're just like, oh, like breaks his head, breaks his neck. Like, oh
Yeah.
my goodness, God, all the lives that were ruined just because that. But
Thousands.
what was your favorite cliffhanger off the top here? We talk about how this show, you watch it, you can't stop. You're at least
Mm-hmm.
gonna watch 3 episodes before you're like, okay, I got to get on with life and do things. What was the one cliffhanger you were just like, dude?
I don't know.
I would say the best cliffhanger for me is when Scott goes into Scott. Who is Scott?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh shoot, I don't know this
yeah.
character.
When Walt goes into the basement, or not the basement, the crawl space where he has his
Man,
money.
all his money.
Where's the
Yeah.
money? I gave it to Todd, and he's screaming, and then he just starts laughing, and Skylar's looking down in complete like terrified shock, like what's happening, and Walt's just laughing manically, and the phone starts ringing, the music, like everything just rushes in, it gets dark, and then the credits, and I was like, what was that? Like I said, like I was streaming this. I said people had to wait a week to see
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
happened.
Like, you
Like,
had to go back now.
yeah, I'm
Oh,
sitting there, like my heart is just thumping. Like, what an ending to a show! Best, at least by far, the best end to an episode that made me like best cliffhanger. I'll say.
okay.
Um, but man, that was a flipping gut punch.
I can't think of one off the top of my head right away. That was a good one, so I see why you picked it.
Yeah,
But just thinking of something like off the top, because I sat on these topic, like just the stuff we've written down. I sat for a while thinking of things to come up with,
uh huh.
and I can't think of a cliffhanger right off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think that was by far my favorite. All right, Brandon, where do you want to go with this? What do you want to talk next?
What character do you feel the worst about?
Do I feel the worst about that? Man, I tell you what, Jesse.
I guess you say even just say feel sorry for, or yeah, I mean they're all kind of the same.
Jesse Pinkman suffered through a lot. I really feel bad for him, but he is able to escape that. Once it was all over, he was able to disappear. I mean, I believe in
Mm-hmm.
the end of El Camino, he went to
He
Alaska.
escaped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Walter White Jr. having to live with one his name, his first name, his last name, and a hero like dude he looked at his father like he could do no wrong. You know, they bought the cars, they went driving together, and for it to turn out his dad being just absolutely just evil. It is what
Yeah.
it is, and him having to share that name and be reminded of it probably for the rest of his life unless they change their names or whatever. But I would say him and Haley, she was born into
For
it,
sure.
and those kids are not going to escape that shadow maybe until they got that money that Walt left behind. They have no idea it's blood money, but it's coming from a
Yeah.
rich couple. And oh my god, yeah. I would probably
I
say
get.
them too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. I didn't even really think about them
Yeah.
when I was doing this. I, I, I wrote down my ultimate character was Mike. That's why I said earlier. I was like,
Ooh.
I'll touch on that later on. Um, well, it's a little bit of mix of Better Call Saul now that I figured out, we both figured out that I was thinking about the wrong show.
Yeah.
But his son gets killed. He was on the he was a cop. Son gets killed on the force too, and then he turns bad. He's
Hmm.
like he's just like whatever, and all he wants is to save money for his granddaughter.
Yeah.
And he does all this work and he builds all this money up for her and he fails. He
Gone.
dies. Nothing gets left to his granddaughter.
Yeah, because remember,
And
Hank tells him,
yeah,
gone.
yeah, he does. Yeah. And even Jesse at one point, remember, he tried to give his granddaughter money, but Saul wouldn't allow it.
Right.
So like, it's like I feel so bad for like Mike, and I guess you can say his granddaughter as well. But after I thought about it for a while, I do feel bad a little bit for Jesse as well.
Yeah.
Even
Oh,
though
yeah.
he made out the best out of all the characters in the long
Probably.
run, but
Yeah.
just his. And I touched on it earlier, his relationship issues,
Hmm.
with his parents, his drug addiction, his failed attempts around everything in life,
Yeah.
basically. He was failed from the start,
Yeah.
and
It's crazy.
luckily he made it out.
Yeah. It's
So,
crazy because you kind of get a hint at him. He had a good heart. I don't know how much of a
mhm.
screw up he was before this, but remember he moved in with his aunt and took care of his aunt when she had cancer. And I think that was a soft spot for Walt that he had. It reminded him of his aunt.
Yeah,
But I wonder if that's when he dipped and became the Jesse Pinkman that we knew. Got involved with
yeah,
math, got involved with this because it's so odd seeing Jesse's parents are well rounded. They're very good. They seem to be very good people, and um, their other son, Jesse's brother, is just boom, book smart, yada yada yada. And what's funny, if you remember, Jesse's brother looked at Jesse. He was like, you're still considered the favorite. And he
yeah.
goes, no matter what you do, they're gonna love you. And he goes, then
They
they,
kept giving them chances over
yeah.
and
Well,
over.
then they finally cut him off at the end, and
Yeah,
people are gonna get mad at the parents, but it's like, no, man, like Jesse's done some bad stuff.
yeah,
But yeah, it is. It is what it is. So yeah, I felt bad for Jesse being. I mean, he constantly got roped in.
he did.
Uh, but yeah, that's Walt. Walt was
Hmm.
the cancer, and he pulled everybody in. He kept everyone. He was able to manipulate anyone he possibly could to keep them there, and they all did.
Easy too.
Dude, he
So I guess
poisoned.
there's a handful of people you can feel bad for.
Yeah, remember he poisoned the child with that berry to make Jesse think it was ricin.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Holy moly! I
That
forgot
was
about that.
that was another ending that was like, whoa! It was Walt.
Whoa!
Yeah, because Walt had the plant. And he took
Whoa!
it and he put it in his trunk. Made Jesse think he lost that cigarette with the ricin in
The
it,
cigarette, yes.
and then pretend he found it.
Oh my gosh.
That's how. Oh, get Walter White is awful.
If you guys haven't figured out yet, you need to watch this show.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah. There's
I mean,
so many layers.
It is.
I actually talked to my
Wow.
boss about it. Because yeah, I
Wow.
started it, and haven't fit. I was like, man, you got to get on that. Like, there's always a scene for someone. Mine was the first one. There's always a scene for someone where like, yep, I'm hooked.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think
Whoa.
outside of Walt had it coming? Like, you know what? Yeah, you probably deserve to die. Like, you deserve this.
Obviously, Gus.
Gus, good.
Well, eventually, at some point, even though I kind of like, it's weird to say, but kind of admire the character. He's just how successful of a person he is, and he's kept everything as this huge drug lord under wraps for so long.
Yeah.
And who would have thought the manager of Las Pablos Chicken is going to be this enormous drug lord? Is that right? Was it Las Pablos Chicken?
Something like that. Yep.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Who had it coming?
I want to try that chicken though.
Yeah, I know it looked good.
Yeah.
Did look good.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know.
That just shows how evil these people. They don't have to do it. He would have been so rich without the meth. Gus.
Yeah.
He was successful. He's so successful.
Well, that's when greed steps in.
Yeah.
Right?
And then what was that other guy? Was it Germany? He had remember it opened up after Gus died, and it opened up and he's trying all the different dressings that they came up with, and he ends up putting a defibrillator on him and kills himself. Yeah. And I'm like, man, these are all like super rich people that are just poisoning society for money. That money they don't need. But they're good at laundering it through their businesses.
Oh, they are. They nailed that.
Yeah. I would say my top one who had it come was Todd. I think that was so satisfying.
Oh, for sure. I'll probably go with that just because of the whole kid incident.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he deserved it. I didn't care if he was like a favorite character at one point.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has him as a favorite character, but if anybody did.
Yeah. I love speaking out the window. Uncle Jack. I said, Jesse is just going nuts.
Yeah, he was
yeah,
what a horrible person.
Yeah, this whole show's filled with horrible people. But yeah, I'd have to go with that little.
I can go with that one too.
Ooh,
for sure.
Yeah. Gosh, what a show!
What an amazing show!
What a show! So, I remember watching a movie called what was it, Secret Window with Johnny Depp, and he talks about something that made total sense. I don't know if you ever seen that movie, but he's a writer, and he explained, he goes, the best part of a story that has to be the best is the ending. And I always thought about that, like, man, I've seen a lot of stuff. Netflix loves releasing movies that have great entertaining, but the ending, to me, every Netflix movie is just awful for the most part. Breaking Bad's ending, how did you feel?
It's like a symbolic image. For example, the final shot of Walter laying on the ground and his lab equipment's all around him.
Yeah.
The ultimate downfall.
Yeah. Well, if you look, he looks happy. It's the first time in the whole series where his eyebrows are lifted and almost has a smile, you say?
Yeah. But that's the, like I said, the ultimate downfall of his consequences.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And that song, My Baby Blue.
Oh gosh.
I guess I got what I deserve.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. I felt really satisfied. Like I was very scared. We knew it was the last episode. They have a bunch of stuff to tie up. What in the world is Walt doing with this huge machine gun? Find out.
Yeah.
And it's like, man,
That was such a cool part, though. That
yeah.
whole setup to that.
I felt the same way approaching this last episode, as I did approaching the Game of Thrones last episode. It's like, man, they have so much to tie up. What on earth's gonna happen?
See, man.
But Breaking Bad,
I guess I can say that too. Yeah.
Breaking Bad nailed it. They tied up everything. Game of Thrones, we'll talk about that later.
Well, yeah. I was gonna say Game of Thrones. They screwed up the entire season. That last season.
Yeah, well, yeah. It was just like
you already knew it was a mess.
Yeah.
So
it was just
Breaking Bad didn't do that though.
No. But I would talk about the eagerness to see what they're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Breaking Bad wrapped that up with a
perfect.
bow.
I can honestly say it's probably the perfect ending to a show.
Yeah.
There's not many shows that do that, and it's weird that these creators have such a hard time closing a show out.
Yeah.
How many good shows there are out there that had just dog crap endings.
Mm-hmm.
Dexter. I don't know if you watched Dexter.
No.
Amazing show, and then it just took a huge dump at the end.
Yeah.
It was like, what was that?
Uh-huh.
Like, it was horrible. But Breaking Bad, they didn't.
Yeah. A lot
it was
of
like
good
the icing
shows
on the cake, and it was a pristine cake. It was amazing.
Yeah. There was a lot of good shows that had really bad. I remember I never watched The Sopranos when it came out, but I remember how controversial that was.
That was another one.
A lot of people were upset.
We never knew what happened.
Lost, that was another show. I didn't get into that show, but
I didn't watch Lost either.
Just to come to find out, spoiler warning, they're all dead at the end. I was like, how effing lazy is that?
Everybody knew it too after, it was like...
How lazy can you be? So you brought us through this whole thing and they're dead. Like, oh my goodness. And what Breaking Bad did perfectly, they knew when to end it. Like, nah, we're just gonna go 5 seasons.
Yeah, 5 seasons. Because when I feel like after that, and I said 6 seasons is like the key.
Yeah.
I've always said 6. When you start getting into 9, 10, I mean, granted, you'll have those strong, hardcore supporters, but dude, you can't just keep. Walking Dead did this.
Oh.
They had so many seasons. I stopped watching after I think maybe season 6, 7. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Well, it's the same stuff over and over.
It's starting to become redundant. We show up in a new civilization that's been going well.
What? There's a bad guy?
Yeah.
Oh no.
They ruin it.
Zombies still.
They move on.
What happened?
Show up to a new one, ruin that one. Show up to a new one, ruin that one, and it's like
another bad guy.
Yeah, it's just like it got repetitive.
Yeah, it's the endings. They're hard. I get it.
Yeah.
They did an awesome job.
Yes, they did. Yeah, I mean, shoot, everything was ruined. Everything was burnt to the ground. All because Walt. And what do you think happened?
Wow.
With Walt? Because you kind of get the sense. What was it? Gray Matter was the company. He sold his shares.
His company before with his friends.
Yeah,
that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, he sold his shares for what, a month's rent? He described it as
nothing.
Yeah, garbage. Nothing. What do you think happened between them three? Because Walt he mentions he gets paranoid. They were trying to phase him out, but then you find out him and what was her name? Gretchen appeared to have been dating, and they were at her parents' house. And he just stormed out. But then come to find out, Gretchen and I forgot the guy's name, are married and control Gray Matter now. And even they invite him back. Remember, like, we can get you the best help. And he refused. I wonder if there was like an affair or an assumed affair or...
Well, didn't he curate the actual business?
Yeah. Yeah, like the
So it was
product
all his idea.
Yeah, it was all his idea, but it
And then they kind of just took over. I
allegedly.
think it might be his own selfishness.
I think so. I don't think he wanted to be the top three people. I think
No,
he wanted to be the top
he just
person.
wanted just him. Yeah, I feel like that's probably why.
Must.
And then the same thing happened in, the meth industry.
Yes.
What he got into, the same thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like at the end he burned it all down because if I can't be the top, no one can be the top.
Yeah. Yeah. He was in the empire business,
Yeah,
as he called it. He couldn't. Yeah, someone that brilliant can't get it together and make a second company. You know what I mean? Well, he did sort of, but yeah. Mike touches on it. He goes, "We had a good thing going, but it was you. It was your pride." And I guess he's a prideful person and just can't handle it ever.
I mean, yeah, that's right. Like him and Gus, yeah, they had their differences, but it was going.
Mm-hmm.
There was no issues, but he wanted to be the only one.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like that's the downfall of a lot of things like that. I'm not saying drug dealers, but in
Greed,
business itself, like people get so attached to having money and power that the greed becomes over them, and they screw it all up.
Yep. Happens to a lot of people. But what you gonna do? But yeah, that's what do you think? Is there something else you want to talk about Breaking Bad, or should we wrap that up in a bow?
Just like I said, if you haven't seen this show, you have to watch it.
Yeah.
It is phenomenal.
It is a fantastic show.
Don't think in our lifetime we probably will never see a show like this again.
Man, I don't know.
Is high.
I don't know. I see a lot of the other shows that are ranked, and you can say it subjectively, but I see a lot of shows like top 10 shows. There's a lot of good shows out there, but dear Lord, is Breaking Bad. There's a big drop off at number 2. For me, anyway. The subject, maybe the subject matter isn't for everyone. The dark moments are not for everyone, but
well, that's true. I mean, a lot of people don't like that. They don't like the drug stuff.
Yeah,
like the killings and.
I'll tell you what, it's absolutely
show. It's fake.
Yeah, absolutely worth checking out. I don't know. It's harder for me to point out a weak spot in the show than a strong spot. I mean, we haven't even touched on a lot of it. Still, as I'm talking about it, there's so much stuff to unfold.
Oh, there is,
and
so much more.
Gosh, I'm thinking of Todd when he goes and sees Jesse's girlfriend, and Jesse's tied up in the van. It just caps her right off the bat. Oh my gosh, is this show crazy? But unfortunately, if you have made it this far, we spoiled a lot of stuff for you. But you know what? There's a lot of stuff we haven't spoiled.
To be honest, it wouldn't matter. You could still go through and watch it all because you don't know when it's coming, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of it you just don't know.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be like, "Oh man, what just happened there?"
Yeah, yeah, definitely a culture phenomenon was definitely Breaking Bad and what followed. Shot everybody up. I just get goosebumps thinking about it. But yeah, that's all we got for.
We didn't even talk about. Oh shoot, what's his name now? I'm just thinking of his character. Gomez.
Hank's partner.
Yeah,
he was cool.
I mean, he was a big character throughout the show.
Just to think, he was killed off camera. You just see him lying there.
I think he's probably in majority of the shows as well.
Yeah, he's a reoccurring pop-up character. Yeah, gosh, man, do you feel just where their bodies were buried and. Walt. That's what's crazy. He buries his money there, and then he buries a family member there. Same holes, and has that lottery ticket. And gives it to Skylar. Those are the coordinates where you'll find.
That was another thing that was so cool.
Yeah, man, talk about a scene that gets your blood going. was when Jesse's taunting him. Yeah, I found your money. I'm gonna burn it. And Hank is
Oh,
flying through traffic. Jesse, Jesse, don't burn it. I did it. I'm the mess. It got him to admit all this stuff just to have Hank, Jesse, and Gomez at the site. Like, yep, dang. I was like, oh, okay, this is how they end it. And then Jack shows up. I was like, oh no, ugh, that would have been a great ending. Nope, they didn't. They decided to take it another route.
wow.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, I'm just remembering everything else now.
Yeah, definitely gonna watch this show again. This just did it for me.
Gosh.
I'm like itching my arm right now, like I gotta
Gosh.
watch again. I'm sick. Just relapsed. But awesome show. We have a mutual friend from way back when. She has a tattoo of Breaking Bad. Maybe I'll ask for permission to post it. She has an awesome tattoo of it's kind of a tribute to Breaking Bad, and like my like jaw drop when I saw it. It was really cool. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not seen this, go check this show
Get
out.
on it right now.
Yeah, do it. Oh, that's all I got.
Make a note on your calendar.
Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. So swinging back, now that we're kind of doing this new touch, this new base, Logan Paul, boxer, podcaster, and incredibly talented movie critic, apparently, said he walked out of Oppenheimer, and I found it very ironic because he stated like it's just people talking while he's just talking on his own podcast. And I'm like, what a tool. I was like, what a tool. I don't know how, like, just how, like, ironic that was. I was like, okay,
you don't
then.
appreciate the history there, right?
No.
And that's a lot of people who said they don't care for Oppenheimer. It's like, dude, it's history. This is what happened.
Right. I don't know what they wanted to see. Like, did they, like, vicariously want to watch the bomb being dropped on Japan? Because it's the most pivotal moment in human history, but it is
Easy.
a huge, unfortunate episode that happened, and it's not. It. How am I gonna say this? It's dude, hundreds of thousands of people died about while this was happening. It was the end of war, and it was an almost necessary evil, I'm trying to say. Either way, it's about building this bomb that's completely changed the world for better or worse, and they cover that, and every single thing mattered, talking or not, whatever happened in this movie, everything mattered. It led to a huge, like I said, it was a huge historical event that happened. Probably the biggest one to ever happen. It ended a war, and just to be that shallow on it, like I found that very like, whoa. I mean, if it's not your style of movie, it's not your style. It's a Christopher Nolan movie. It's what he does. But to sit there and just be like, oh, it's just people talking, it's like you have no weight. You have no consideration of the weight of everything that had happened in history. When it comes to this, because I looked it up like crazy, and Oppenheimer is very, very, very accurate. It's pretty impressive actually, and yeah, it was just kind of weird. Like I just didn't know what people were necessarily expecting. It's about the person, not necessarily about the bomb. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's almost like a oh my gosh, I just went blank now. It's not disrespectful. Well, it is disrespectful, I guess, in a way, but it's like I think he's only doing it for like the views and stuff.
I think
like,
so.
I just want the media attention. Like, oh, he walked out of Oppenheimer because he says it's just talking. Like, oh, that's all it is.
It didn't work in favor for him at all.
He just wants the attention.
Yeah, that's how him and his him and his brother have always.
Immature. It's immature. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
that's how him and his brother has always been. Just
Yeah, both of them.
click. Yeah, just they're clickbait, fake boxing, BSers that for me, I'm sorry, they represent everything that is just going wrong. Whether you listen to them or not, but that was like proof. Like, oh, our attention spans are decreasing rapidly, and that's what I feel like he was.
Yeah, for sure.
The symbol of when that happened, but whatever. They're both a couple of punks, crap talking, fake boxing douchebags. Excuse my language, but that's how I feel. That's how I feel. I've just I can't believe that, but I definitely love to talk about that when you eventually see the movie. So
yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah, what do you think? Should we wrap this one up?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for joining us. I hope you like the new format. Definitely want to get on topic faster and obtain keep your attention. So, hope you enjoyed the episode. Like, subscribe, and share. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Instagram, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, well, let's wrap this one up, and we'll catch you guys next week.
All right, until next time, my friends.
See you later.